What is going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about why Slark is a sleeper pick this patch and why you guys should be picking Slark as one of your mainline carries to be gaining much more MMR. A lot of pro players have been realizing how strong this hero is, hence why the hero has a 52% win rate and has been picked a lot more often. Honestly, I've been spam picking Slark every time that I can, and I've been pretty much non-stop winning. And one of the keys to winning with Slark this patch, I think, is rushing Orchid. I think Orchid is in a really good spot as an item, and the fact that most of the heroes that you're going up against really don't want to be silenced, and most of these heroes don't like building Manta either or any dispels early on, so you're just going to be feasting off these supports. Heroes like Lich, Lion, and heroes of this nature that are very well picked this patch, you're able to just go in with your Orchid and get rid of them quickly. Heroes that are extremely pesky for you to deal with, you're able to just go in and get the job done, and if they threaten you, you just ult and you get out pretty much scot-free, and that's really important to have in a carry. With the rise in meta of Alchemist, you're able to go toe-to-toe against heroes like Alchemist and Medusa, which is some of the most meta carries in the patch right now. You're able to go toe-to-toe with these heroes pretty much every single time unless you're just way too far behind. One thing I want you guys to keep in mind is Medusa being super well picked, but also likes playing with Axe, and that's a hero you really don't like going up against. Personally, I hate the matchup. Yes, you can beat him in lane and you can kind of crush him when it comes to the mid game, but once he gets Blink Blade Mail, it's pretty much game time for you. You are going to be dying left, right, and center unless you wait for Axe to initiate and you go in second, but the call cooldown is just so short. He's able to blink call you again, so it's just so difficult to deal with that as a Slark. Unless you have some saves, you guys are playing with a Shadow Demon, then yes, that matchup will be quite fine for you because you can get saved. But if there's no saves on your team, that Axe is going to absolutely obliterate you, and even if you can get BKB off in a really long team fight, you have a bunch of Essence Shift stacks, it's not going to go well for you. So typically, if I do see an Axe on the other team, I will not be picking the Slark, but pretty much any other hero I will be picking the Slark, no problem. Let me know in the comments below if you guys are Slark players, if you guys struggle with Axe the most, or what is the hero you guys struggle with the most as a Slark player. For me, it's Axe. That's definitely the bane of my existence, so I typically will not play that matchup, and if I do, it is very difficult, and I would just ignore the Axe and go for everybody else because I know it's going to be very difficult if I get targeted. Now let's break down the facet you guys want to be using. So typically you guys want to be picking the Leashing Leech, which basically applies an Essence Shift stack on Pounce. So that is very important because that gives you a free stack, so it's going to be really good. So once you land, you're going to be able to get right click plus that extra stack. You're going to be able to build this up, and it obviously synergizes very well with your Aghanim Scepter, which is very crucial for Slark to be very successful this patch. The fact that you can go in and out of fights and pretty much do whatever you want, and especially if you're playing with items like Orchid, you're able to pretty much choose your targets, and if they committed spells to defend themselves or force staffs and such, you can easily kite back and go around, and that cooldown is not going to be available for them. You're going to be able to go in and take care of them quickly. So this is definitely your best facet. Your starting items, you're going to start out with a Quelling Blade, Tangos, a Circlet, and a Stick. That is pretty much the best way to go. It gives you really good stats to last it, and it also gives you that important stick. Obviously, if you're not going to get value from the stick, then don't pick it up. Swap it for an extra set of Tangos maybe, or an extra Circlet. That way you have as much stats as possible and just make you very tanky in the lane. And then eventually you're going to upgrade to a Wraith Band, and then you're going to upgrade to a Wand. You're going to get your treads, and then for me, it's rushing Orchid. It's all about rushing Orchid pretty much every single game, and then Silver Edge. And after the Silver Edge, I will typically go for an Aghanim Scepter. It really depends on the matchup. Sometimes I'll get Ags first and then Silver Edge, but if I really need the break, I'll get it right after the Orchid. And some games obviously are really good for Diffusal. If you're facing up against Medusa or heroes like Ember, you want to be able to burn all their mana pools away, so Diffusal can be a viable option, but I just feel like Diffusal is not as strong in my opinion. I just think the Orchid rush is much better for me to be able to take care of the backline and be able to snowball off the lane, and really being able to rotate around the lanes doing whatever I want, which typically Slark doesn't really rotate as much. With this Orchid build, I'm able to go to any lane that I want, pick off a support or a mid laner that has no dispels, and be able to get a really free kill that they're really not expecting. They're expecting the Slark to be in the jungle trying to get a bunch of items. No, I like to be a lot more aggressive, and even more so, you can build a Harpoon and be even more aggressive and just play off your stacks and be pretty much immortal around the map and very difficult to take down. In the late game, you want to pick up items like BKB, Scotty, or Abyssal Blade. These are going to help you secure a lot more kills in the late game. You could also think about items like Butterfly, but these items typically you're not going to be getting to. The game might be over. But if you do want to pick up items like Butterfly, they are pretty good. Obviously, extra agility is going to be nice on Slark, but the fact that you pretty much get them for free doesn't really feel that great to go for items like Butterfly. MKB feels a lot better on this hero. You guys let me know what is your favorite Slark build this patch. So you guys guys prefer the Orchid or the Diffusal. Now let's break down some of the best support pairings for the Slark. Some of the best ones are Lich, Grimstroke, Lion, and Crystal Maiden. These heroes are very good for you to do a lot of damage on the Slark. Heroes with stuns and slows are always going to be really good, but heroes like Crystal Maiden not only has the Frostbite, not only has the slow, but she also gives you mana regen, which is very important on Slark. You do use a lot of mana, especially when you're dark pacting everything under the sun. You're going to need that extra mana regen, so playing with heroes like Crystal Maiden is going to be good. Heroes like Lich keep you alive for much longer with that frost armor, and heroes like Grimstroke allow you to be even more aggressive. So these pairings are very beneficial for you to be able to do more things around the map and be a lot more effective. Another thing to keep in mind is cooldown management on Slark. If you guys don't have ulti, it's not very good for you guys to go into a fight. Without your ultimate, just don't fight. That is my theory for playing Slark. If I don't have ulti, I typically won't like to fight. If it's a few seconds out, then yeah, I'll go for it. Or if I have shard available, then I can still go for the kill. But other than that, no ultimate, no fighting for me, because that's what's really going to make me live most of the time. If they have no hard lockdown, they don't have an axe call or anything like that, I'm going to be able to just jump away while I'm shadow danced, and there's really not a whole lot they're going to be able to do about it. And also to initiate, some games are very difficult where they have hexes and instant stuns, and you just want to be able to get rid of them quickly, and you might have to pretty much ulti in and then do as much damage and then kite out. Some games are definitely going to be like that, so definitely pay attention on your cooldowns. And if you're dark pacting a lot of things, make sure it's there when you need it. Don't just do it for absolutely no reason. I see a lot of people just spamming it. It is a fast cooldown, but sometimes you're playing up against a lot of stuns and orchids and such, and you want to make sure you have that dark pact ready to go. Otherwise, you're going to be griefing yourself. Now let's break down some of the best and worst matchups for Slark. Some of the best ones are Spectre, Luna, Alchemist, Legion Commander, Medusa, and Abaddon. All these heroes are able to go toe-to-toe against these heroes. Obviously, you need to be pretty good on farm. Obviously, if these heroes get a huge advantage, it's going to be very difficult for you to take care of them. But assuming you guys are more or less equal with these heroes, they are definitely very solid matchups. Heroes like Alchemist are definitely going to out-farm you, but you can easily take care of once you build enough items. Alchemist is very rarely that he can go toe-to-toe in the mid to late game against the Slark, unless you're severely under-farmed. Other than that, you should be fine against this matchup, and Alchemist is one of the most meta carries right now, so very beneficial for you to go up against an Alchemist with a Slark. And some of the bad matchups are Axe, Zeus, Nightstalker, Earthshaker, Grimstroke, and Bounty Hunter. These matchups are all very difficult. I already explained Axe. Zeus is very difficult because he just does so much freaking burst damage that he's not going to let you live a whole lot of times, so you do need to focus the Zeus in order to do something about it. And the Mage Slayer build is going to help you out against the Zeus, and a BKB as well. You're going to need as much magic resistance as you can, as Zeus is just shitting out damage left, right, and center. The Slark is a hero that does not like that much burst damage, and heroes like Nightstalker can easily get on top of you and just silence you, and it's going to be very tough to get away from this matchup. And even in the lane, it gets very tricky because you want to pounce out, and he just doesn't let you do whatever you want in the fight, so very tough matchup. And heroes like Earthshaker, Grimstroke, very difficult as well. Bounty Hunter is also very tough because you're not going to be able to regen because you're going to be in vision. Obviously, you can dark pact it out, but it's just very annoying for those few seconds. If you don't have mana to dark pact and things like that, it can be very annoying to go up against the Bounty Hunter. So these matchups are honestly very tough, but there's nothing that the Slark can't overcome. One of the things I will tell you guys about playing Slark is don't get so over aggressive, because sometimes playing on Slark, you're snowballing and you kind of feel immortal and you're pretty much all over the map and you think you're never going to die. That's when you end up feeding the most. You still need to play very smartly. Even though you are very strong on this hero, you still need to use your brain, still need to play smart, because there's been a few games where I've been snowballing super hard and I ended up feeding a couple of times, and then I said, okay, maybe I gotta take a step back here because I'm not immortal and I'm definitely gonna keep feeding if I keep playing like this. And sometimes it's really good to do that on any carry, not just Slark. Take a step back and really evaluate the situation and just not only tunnel vision on the kills, think about the objectives, think about Roshan, think about going high ground or a tower that you might need to take care of, think about your vision. There's a lot of things you can do on the Slark, especially looking for vision. If your regen is not procking up, it means that there is vision, so use that to your advantage and help scout out and help your team. That way they're not placing sentries in stupid places. A really good synergy with Slark in terms of vision is the Zeus. Obviously, if Slark goes in first, Zeus is able to clear out the vision very easily, so it's a pretty decent synergy. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about Slark this patch. Are you guys playing Slark? Did you guys not know that he's really strong, or did you guys just forget that this fish even exists? I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys learned something, leave a like and a comment. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.